on this week's episode. We are live from the Cleveland Comedy Festival as part 2 of our recording. Well, we're not actually currently live, but we recorded live. This second part of the episode is called Callbacks, where we bring back 6 previous guests of You Can't Laugh at That, and they trade topics with one another with 24 hours notice. So they each wrote their jokes within 24 hours about someone else's topic to prove that from multiple angles you can laugh at any topic. So sit back and enjoy this episode of You Can't Laugh at That with Steve Mers, John Armstrong, Brett Thomas, Joe Graham, Ryley Nezballa, Dave Flynt, and Tim Cornett.
This is a segment we're calling Callbacks, which is super original, and no other comic has used that to title a segment on their podcast ever. This is what we're going to do is we are bringing on previous guests of the podcast, and they are going to share a joke about a topic that wasn't theirs. I could probably word that better. And then we're going to talk about that. So, without any further ado, we are going to bring up your first comedian, Tim Cornett.
Yeah. Where am I? Is this sit down or stand up comedy?
It's stand up.
Okay. Do I just say it? Do I say what the topic is? Or
Just tell the joke, and then we'll talk about the topic for a couple minutes, and then you can skedaddle.
Okay. So I guess you guys can just figure out what the topic is.
Yep.
By context of what I'm talking about. It's kind of a weird setup because I only have 2 minutes. So now I'm just talking about swear words. Is that what it is?
Curse words.
Curse words. Curse words.
Cursive language.
Yeah, cursing. It's funny. See, now I have something to springboard off of. See, now what's funny is that out of the entirety of language, at least half the words are there to register displeasure, and then yet a small segment of those words are forbidden. But it kind of makes sense because, there's cases where any other word doesn't, work out. If you, walk in and see your best friend in bed with your wife, you're not like, outrageous! Or if you, stub your toe, you're like, unfortunate! It's sometimes cursing is it's the more polite option. Like if you're in bed, you're like, how about some mouth sodomy? No, turn down the lights. I'm hoping for some sodomy tonight. You know what would be great about cursing? If it actually was intertwined with actual cursing, you fucking shit-mouthed motherfucker, pestilence, plague, bitch. That's it.
Tim Cornett.
That was
everybody.
my joke. That was my observation on cursing.
All right, have a seat. Or you can say, I don't know, whatever's comfortable. Now I'm doing panel. Yeah.
Old Carson show style.
Yeah, this is...
Get me a cigarette!
You know you've made it once you get invited to the couch.
Yeah.
Or the
the table, which is... We're on a platform and the table is not.
Yeah.
I thought I had a growth spurt.
We like to make people feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
Part of the point of this podcast is to make you look good and feel good, too.
Yeah.
So curse words. I mean, language. Is that something that you've played with in jokes before?
No,
language?
Never.
No,
not once.
Wow. What was your first thing that came to mind? What was the first thing that came to mind when I was like, hey, tell this joke about curse words?
Actually, it was actually kind of personal because my mom had a mouth like a sailor, but was deeply offended by the cursing that I would watch, which was pretty much Comic View and Eddie Murphy. So it's but it is 2 different kinds of swearing because my mom would be she'd string words together when she'd get mad. She'd be like, shit, fuck, God, fuck. She had Tourette's, but she was never you got has to eat the pussy. Never once did Mom ever say anything.
So you flipped it though. You made the joke more about like words to replace cuss words.
Yeah, because sometimes it was right. Like sometimes you like stub your toe and you're like, fuck. Mm-hmm. And then I suspected it might be funny if I didn't say fuck, but I said another word. If you want to peek behind the curtain, see, there was a word that I thought might be funnier than the other word, and then I said that word to thunderous applause.
From the
there's like 6 people. From the 6 people in here, I could tell.
It felt like at least 7 when you told that one.
It's because I read that book on Cicero.
It's a well-structured argument.
Oh, structured argument by Cicero. I would not have switched those words otherwise.
Yeah. Dave, the episode was with Dave Flynt.
And, okay. What was your take, Dave?
Cuss words?
Yeah, cuss words.
Who cursed them in the first place?
Who cursed him in the first place?
Who cursed him in the first place? That's a good question.
Yeah, because you have the bit about the inside of the elbow. You thought that was the cunt.
I mean, I did.
Yeah. And so that's like a fun. Like I love the take of like from a place of innocence, like looking at something that isn't innocent from that perspective.
As if a baby might cuss.
Yeah. Right, and you kind of did that a little bit in your bit as well.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
It's funny. Cunt is a funny word, too. Like, why is that so much like, I can call you a pussy and I can call you a cunt? Why is, like, me calling you a cunt so much worse unless we're in England? See, people need to stop getting so arbitrary about what offends you. Frankly, yes, thank you.
We designate.
One person is applauding, the rest of you are cunts.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It is. It's just bandied about in the UK. Just like
Yeah. They don't care.
I use it that way.
It's words. What does it matter? You know what I think is offensive? War.
Yeah.
All right, we'll end on that.
All right, thanks you for having me.
Tim Cornett. All right, your next comic coming to the stage, we just talked to him. He did an episode about curse words, but today he's going to talk about suicide. Please welcome Dave Flynt.
I feel like this was secretly a plot to try to cancel me. It's like, hey, Dave, you busy tomorrow? Do a bunch of suicide jokes.
This is career
So
suicide.
yeah, just jump into it. But I'm
Jump
terrible
off of
at
it.
planning stuff, so I wrote all these suicide jokes on the way over here. Suicide is sad, but what's sadder is when it doesn't work. Now you sit in the hospital like, damn, I can't do nothing right. You can kind of like microdose suicide. Just kill yourself a little bit every day. Roll up some Newports and bacon and wash them down with a Four Loko for like a month straight. Doctors are like, we managed to save your life, but due to the injuries, you're now a juggalo. I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do about it. There's another funny suicide thought. If I ever did kill myself, I just paint little googly eyes on my eyelids so it looks like I'm just chilling. They don't figure it out for like 4 weeks later. Suicide is lightweight selfish for real when you think about it. Like, if my roommate committed suicide, I'd be sad, but I'd also be like, what's up with that half of the light bill? You know what I'm saying? If I commit suicide, I hope child support harvests my organs and sell them and pay off the rest of my debt. What else? Yeah, a good way to commit suicide if you like too scared to actually like shoot yourself. You could just wait for hunting season and go deep in the woods of West Virginia dressed up like a deer. Unless nobody find you and nobody shoots you, and then you just got to end up staying there in the woods dressed like a little deer. Find your little deer wifey to settle down with. Start a new life. Then her ex-deer husband get out of jail and stab you with his antlers because he saw y'all cuddling, watching Netflix, and now he's off on the freeway chasing a Ford Bronco. Forgot that glove. All right. So they never encourage organ donors to commit suicide. Like, it's somebody out there waiting for that kidney transplant right there, and you just playing Grand Theft Auto, eating Taco Bell in your mom's basement when you could be saving a life. You think they would call you once in a while to check, like, bring, like, you still alive? All right, we need those organs, but if you're not doing anything later, we got some free tickets to see Travis Scott, so.
Oh, damn.
Knock yourself off. Knock yourself out of me. This is so awkward. All right, I'm gonna just end with this. I wrote top 10 ways to kill yourself. Do a old school David Letterman suicide bit. All right, top 10 ways to kill yourself. Number 1, slap Mike Tyson. Number 2, fly Spirit Airlines at all, ever, for any reason. Number 3, take a nap at a Travis Scott concert. Number 4, be black within 100 feet of the police. 5, go to Little Italy and snap in half a handful of pasta. I don't. 6, get vaccinated and wait a few years. 7, don't get vaccinated and wait a few years. 8, eat a KFC biscuit with no water. 9, drink Lake Erie water. 10, go to a Browns game wearing a Steelers jersey. 11, cheat at a dice game in East Cleveland. 12, 12, marry Jada Pinkett and just wait. And the last one is the last one is just take a nap at Travis Scott concert. That's all my suicide material.
Dave Flynt.
Yeah. Keep it going for it.
I like how your top 10 list, you were just like, 10 is an arbitrary number.
Yeah, 10, 14, it's all the same.
Yeah.
You know.
What are numbers even?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's... Yeah.
I've never seen somebody have so much fun with suicide.
Yeah, me either, especially during the process. Right?
It's the
One of my
journey.
best friends killed himself when we was like, we was probably like 16, 17, and he OD'd on these pills. And I remember it's like, his uncle was like so enraged, like he was a fucking psycho. But he, after like the whole thing, he took me in the woods, like, man, I gotta talk to you, man. Come here. I'm like, oh shit, this is creepy. And he's like, man, we gotta get the motherfuckers who did this. I'm like, he kind of already did. He killed himself. That was just like weird. He had so much anger behind it. I'm like, who do you want me to do, man? Like, I don't know. You ever thought about killing yourself before?
I think everybody has.
Yeah.
On some level.
Well, here's there's a difference between thinking about it. Did you actually like go through the planning motions of like trying, like, what would I like? Dangling your feet off the edge of something really big or something?
No, I mean, the deepest I've thought about it was writing a joke because, like, I'm not scared to die, but I am scared of how people are going to find my body, and, like, I want to have fun with that, you know? So,
What
like, the googly eye thing.
What type of outfit you gonna wear when you kill yourself? Let's ask Steve. I'm pretty sure you try to kill yourself.
Oh,
for it,
suit.
Steve. Yeah, suit.
Yeah.
Look, he already had this answer waiting. He's like, as soon as they ask me, suit.
Yeah, suit tie.
It's already ironed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, everybody keep an eye on Ryley Nezballa. Everybody. Just in case. Got a suicide outfit over there.
I did a bucket list years ago that was just like yours, but yours was way funnier, by the way. I just want to get that out of the way. Mine was like, but I did the angle of like, it's a bucket list of like things you do, but they all end up, you'll end up dead with all these. But
kick the bucket list.
The only one that I still like is play a shotgun barrel like a jug in a honky-tonk band. That's a fun one.
It's so long, you gotta like pull the trigger with your toe. Like so.
Yeah.
So,
That's a hilarious way to die.
That's what broadcast it live on TikTok.
Why did you pick this for the topic?
It was so everybody so the 6 people who are here have been on the podcast, and I just switched up topics.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
like Joe Graham, his topic was suicide for his episode, and so
I don't know
just
about
used a
killing
random
yourself,
number
but
generator.
if you want
Yeah.
to kill your comedy career, 2 minutes of suicide jokes live on a podcast.
They were good though. Like they were kind of like lighthearted. Like it's like you added some silliness to it, which I think like softens the blow on topics like that.
Yeah. It's quite a topic.
I mean, like googly eyes and like the deer thing. Like it's
I'm gonna murder myself.
Yeah.
But first, some glitter.
Yeah, I noticed that too. The 6 of you who are doing this, it's suicide, assassinations, death. Like those are 3 of the topics. So we're getting dark here, baby. Dave, anything else you want to add?
I haven't done it so far. So, I mean, I guess things are going good.
All right, Dave Flynt. Let's hope things keep going good.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeehaw.
All right. I think this is fun. Maybe we should switch up the format of the podcast and just do this from now on. I don't know. I'm going through a midlife crisis. All right. Coming up to the stage next is his episode was about Catholic priests, but today he is going to talk about assassinations. It's Ryley Nezballa.
Yeah.
We're going out of order already.
Oh, yeah, I did. I messed up.
I don't give a shit. I don't know. I like that assassins, they have a code, right? Like they're not cold-blooded killers. They follow a code. No women, no children, right? If I was an assassin, though, I'd corner that market. Like, I'd only kill. I'd be like a pediatric assassin. That's what I'd go for. You're like, baby Hitler? Would I? Yeah. That's like my Super Bowl. There's one assassin, legendary assassin, and he lived by that code, no women, no children. He was prolific. He was feared by his enemies and those who would employ his services. He was so deadly. And by the way, I had 24 hours to write this joke. Anyway, he was so deadly. And he never killed a woman or a child. He killed hundreds. And then one day he got sloppy, killed a woman and her child in their home. He left prints, dropped a weapon. He was caught a day later, went to prison, never spoke about it. And on his deathbed, one of the prison nurses asked him, hey, why did you kill that woman? Why did you get so sloppy? Why did you break your code? And he said, well, she knew I was a killer. Why'd she lie about being on birth control? So,
Ooh, that's a twofer.
24 hours. That's it. That's all I got.
Ryley Nezballa. I like that the pediatric like killer angle.
Oh, yeah, the one that was a joke?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, what do you do for a living? Like, how do you respond? I work with kids.
Yeah.
I work with kids.
Like, people are worried about pedophiles. I feel like there's an entire profession that we need to keep an eye out for. And that's that.
I mean, no one's getting paid to be a pedophile.
Yeah, that's true. It's not a very prolific market, for sure. No one goes
They're
to
getting
college
paid
for
in
it.
exposure.
All right, so other than it being 24 hours, which is, I mean, that's a good way to break the tension on this.
Well, it's good because I've been writing a lot of jokes about femicide anyway, so
Yeah.
just not assassination, mostly crimes of passion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did it open up like the perspective on that topic?
You're looking at me like I'm being serious. No. I don't know. Literally what I did today is I listened to like an old episode of the Ron and Fez show where people were like calling in street jokes, seeing if I could work assassination into one of them, but they were all just racist, so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there were no assassination jokes. So you're like, oh,
No,
man,
unfortunately.
I gotta wing this. I gotta get sloppy.
Yep.
Yeah. That sounds like an actual joke, like the way you set it up, like it was a street joke.
Yeah, it's like 90% of street jokes are just like, all right, something mundane, then something awful.
So that was one that's a Ryley Nezballa original. 'Cause I feel
Well,
like
no, let's not call it that.
Okay. I'm gonna distance myself from this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So cool. I mean, do you have any like bits on like murder, death, assassination?
No, not yet. Apparently not.
I'm trying to stretch you as a writer, is what this podcast is about.
Yeah, I actually have a really funny new joke about murder, but it's not assassin. Like, it's not an assassination thing. It's
Okay.
about a serial killer.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it
All
right now.
All right. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Everybody, make sure you go to whatever show Riley's on.
Yeah, Hatfields. Go to Hatfields every Thursday. I'm
There you
going
go.
there tonight. If you're listening to this live, I'll be there in 2 hours.
All right, get there. Will you work on that joke anymore? The assassination one?
Probably
Is it-
not.
Nah, all right.
No.
I was hoping that this was like-
who did that? Who was your assassination person for the?
Tim Cornett.
Oh, was he still here?
Tim Cornett. No, he bounced right when he was done.
I've never heard his assassination joke.
It was God. What was it about? It was, and I know this wasn't an episode you were on, Steve. I think it was Jeremy that was on it with is Jeremy in
The
here?
guy was it on the guy who killed JFK, Haley Joel Osment or whatever his name was?
Haley Joel Osment killed JFK.
That's who I would kill if I had to go back in time and kill a child. It would be Haley Joel Osment. Just wanted to clear the air on that.
But
Yeah, the world. I mean, that Silicon Valley show did not need that character.
Yeah, exactly. This is we don't need
That
him.
was the beginning of the end.
Hello, Mr. Gump. It's his best line ever.
What happened over the last? I feel like over the last 5 years, everybody's just trying to cast Haley Joel Osment and stuff. It's like, remember this kid? He's been in The Boys. He's been-
You know what?
Looked at myself in the mirror.
If I met him and he was like, "Why do people want?" I'd be like, "I don't even think about you at all." That's kind of how I feel about Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah. He does have an assassin's name though. It's always like the three.
Yeah, that was the joke for sure.
Yeah.
Anything with three names is like either a serial killer or just like a B-list actor. You know?
Why do you have to?
What about
your-
Well, no, I guess that's just an initial. I was going to say John F. Kennedy.
Yeah. The middle initial. Those are the ones who get got. What was Abraham Lincoln's middle name?
I don't think they had him back then.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's too
John Wilkes Booth.
excessive.
They're all three, assassins, serial killers.
Martin Luther King. There's one.
Yeah.
Assassinees? What's the word?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fun.
Hey, who's next?
All right, we're done here. Ryley Nezballa.
Yeah! There we go.
I thought that went really well.
Who cares? Like, you guys are like, oh no, this is awkward. Who gives a fuck?
That's
Like,
it's baked
just
into
have some
this.
fun.
I think. This is
isn't
stand-up
high
comedy.
stakes.
Yeah, there are literally no stakes. No stakes.
No stakes. This is a vegan show.
Yep. So coming up to the stage next, his episode was about suicide. He's going to talk about John Armstrong's episode. The topic from his episode, it's Joe Graham talking relationships, everybody.
Yeah!
Thank you. Also, I was thinking when you guys, this is called Callbacks.
Yeah.
So, technically, the way JFK talked, he committed suicide by assassination.
There it is.
Oh, if I was going to commit suicide, I would jump off a high building. Because I feel like when you jump down, there's like a moment where you go, actually, I do want to be alive. You know?
Yeah.
I feel alive.
You're like,
flying.
this was the rush I was looking for. And then you're like, oh, damn.
Fuck.
So, I don't know. I'm supposed to talk about relationships. I have relationships jokes, but I'm bad at relationships in real life. Mainly because one girl ruined it for me. We went on a date. We went on one date, and she ruined the value of how I think women value men. because we went on this date. We met on Tinder, and she texted me the day of and was like, hey, just to let you know, I got my period. Is that cool if we still go out? We're going to go to dinner, and we're going to go to a Cavs game. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So I get there to pick her up at her apartment, and we go to dinner, and while we're sitting down, she goes, just to let you know, I was lying about being on my period. And I was like, okay. She's like, that was a test to see if you would still come out. And I was like, okay. And then we order food at the Mexican restaurant, and she starts crying. And then she tells me that she doesn't want her dad to die. And so I started drinking Jack and Cokes. And I was like, well, what's going on with your father? And is everything okay? And she was like, no, everything's good. I just am really close to him. And sometimes when I'm hanging out with guys, I cry because of my dad. And I'm like, okay, another Jack and Coke. So we go to the Cavs game after eating at the Mexican restaurant, and we get there, and we're sitting there, and I have like a jacket and a hoodie because it was cold out, and she wore like a t-shirt that was like cute or whatever, but no warmth. And then we're sitting there, and I'm already like annoyed because I should have brought one of the boys to the game. And she's like, hey, it's really cold. Do you care if I wear your jacket? Like, trying to be cute. And I was like, well, actually, if I give you my jacket now, I feel like you won't learn a lesson about wearing your jacket next time. And I was like, if we continue to date, I can't wear 3 jackets. And she was like, you're a weird guy, and started chuckling. I was like, you're insane. Like, you want a boyfriend so bad, I don't want a girlfriend. So then we're leaving, and the seats were like decent, and we're walking out, and we're just like, I'm just kind of like out of it, and I'm standing there, and I open up like a soda water, and it like explodes and splashes at these 2 guys like walking out of their suite, and it splashes all over him. And so we keep walking. He gets behind me, and he says, I really want to kick this fucking guy's ass right now, but I'm gonna let him have a good time. And like the girl and I were like standing there walking, and she's like, did you hear that? And I was like, yeah, if he only knew. And she was like, what, that you were, in the Marines or whatever? And I was like, no, that I'm not having a good time. And this was like 3 months before I ever did comedy, and I realized like that I was broken and damaged. And then, we left. And what really ruined it was when I dropped her off and then I left, she texted me 2 days later and said she had a fun time and that we should do this again. And that totally devalued women to me. Because like I gave every red flag except for like hitting her at dinner. And she was like, you know what? My dad's gonna die one day. Anyway, that's my time, I guess. I'm Joe Graham. Thank you.
Take a seat.
Take a seat,
Take
Joe.
a seat.
Thank you.
Joe, you're more of a one-liner comic. I like that story, man. That was great.
Yeah, I don't tell a lot of stories because a lot of them come out. A lot of my stories that have to do with me in real life are obnoxious and like very one-sided, and they make me look like the villain. Oh no! Yeah, I think I might be the villain in most of my stories, so I don't tell them.
I feel like that it was like an episode of Succession. Like both of you suck, like in that joke. It's great.
We both. Yeah. To say that you're testing someone on a first Tinder meetup, like
Telling
all
you
the texts
you're
were
on your
good.
period, too.
Yeah,
That's
I'm on my
weird.
period, so no sex. Like, of course I can't text you and be like, well, my friend Dave's not on his period, so we're going to go watch the Cavs rip up the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. I'll see you in 3 to 7 home games.
We're going to watch the Red Wings.
Exactly.
The Red Wing.
Nice.
Okay, so was that because you there was like a different version of that joke from before? Like I remember talking to you about it a couple years ago. What changed? Like I know there were some other punchlines that you left out of this one.
The interaction at dinner was much longer.
Okay.
The Jack and Cokes that were ordered was much longer. The at the table, it was like a movie. It felt like a TV show, which is why I try not to tell it that way. Because every time he came up, I was like, Jack and Coke. And then she would order like an appetizer. And then he'd come back and she'd be like, dinner? And I'd be like, oh, Jack and Coke. And then like when I went to the bathroom, I saw my guy and I was like, Jack and Coke. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's just too much like a movie where just cut it out. It sounds too fake, so.
Right. It's not like super relevant to the punchline.
Why do you need to know I had 8 Jack and Cokes and then drove to the queue?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why do you need to know what my BAC was?
Yeah. Yeah, that's superfluous.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that word. There was, what was I going to say? Oh, the jacket thing. That is so funny.
Yeah, that's really rude. That's that's an 8 Jack and Coke deep thing to say to someone, to be like it's something you only say like when you know physically there's nothing the person next to you can do.
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, you can hit me a bunch, but like we're at a Cavs game and I'm not going to hit you back. So like you're just going to look really weird. You know what I mean? Just striking me a bunch.
I just like you're trying to teach her a lesson. It's a very dad move. So I mean.
Yeah. I mean, like, legitimately, I bet the next date she went on, fucking jacket. Mm. I bet she had one on. I bet she had one wrapped around her waist. And I bet if he wanted one, she was like, no, because you won't learn your lesson.
That's something we can all learn from. Joe Graham teaching these people.
Just bring a fucking jacket. They're not heavy.
That's the key to a relationship, everybody, is jacket.
Don't be a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. That goes for dudes, too, you know?
Yeah.
Stop being bitches in relationships, for real. It's really annoying. I hate when I work with women, and, like, you're, like, just, like, a normal dude, and you have to, like, listen to the stories about, like, dudes being bitches, and you're just like, what? And you're like, yeah, no, my boyfriend makes me go to bed at, like, 9:30. What? He sounds like a bitch. Like you shouldn't be with that bitch. I'm sorry.
Makes me go to bed.
Yeah, it's weird.
Steve, anything you want to add?
No.
Joe Graham, everybody. Thanks for taking the time. All right, 2 more comics. 2 more topics.
Got it in you? Come on.
All right, I think we got this because your next comic is... we used to host a show together at the Greenhouse Tavern, and he is going to talk about something that is totally uncontroversial. We're talking about Catholic priests.
Yeah.
It's Brett Thomas, everybody.
BT.
I only have one liner about it, because I had 22 hours because you didn't have my phone number.
Yeah, he did change his number and then didn't tell me.
Yeah, so...
Broke my heart.
I only had 22 hours to write this. I guess I should face the audience. This is, like, all true, by the way. Like, this is all based in reality. I work at a Catholic cemetery. I've been working there for a month. And, like, whenever a priest gets buried, it's a big deal because it's like a priest, you know. Like, one of the differences is when a regular person gets buried, in the package, you can ask for a tent in case it's raining. But if you're a priest, you automatically get 2 tents. Double. But we were burying a priest. We were burying a priest a couple weeks ago, and it was like a Thursday, and like barely anyone showed up. And then like I realized that most of like his friends and like close people couldn't make it because it was a school day.
How's that job going, man? That's
good. I buried like 4 people today.
You gotta, when people ask how work is going and they don't know that you got a new job, that's how you should respond every time.
It never gets old to me. It's like a great topic of conversation. I was, I see like a lot of weird stuff. I've only been there for like a month. But this woman just died, and she wanted to be buried with her baby who had like passed away like decades before. And so we had to dig the baby up. And it goes in this like little vault. And then we're like driving around with it all day until like we buried her. And so we lowered her casket down, and we had to put the baby on top. And the baby was like on the ground. And my coworker was like, "Hey, Brett, could you hand me that baby?" And like I had to pick it up and hand it to him. And then like another time, I know it's about a Catholic priest, but I'm just on a roll. I'm hijacking the show. But like last thing, I'll make it quick. Well, I have a couple, but I have a lot.
One, yeah.
But this 80-year-old couple died in a car accident together, and we were burying them at the same time. And the funeral director was like, "Yeah, we were gonna have a double funeral last winter during COVID because this elderly couple were in the hospital with COVID. The wife died, and then we were waiting for the husband to die. But then he got better and is now alive."
Brett, you have gotten so good at like just using your body language as a punchline. Like it's fascinating
Less is more.
to watch.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's so I don't even remember the Catholic priest joke. Oh yeah, they were
kids.
Kids. Cool.
What's it with comics having morbid jobs now? Like you got that. Chris Paul like hauls away dead bodies.
Didn't AJ?
AJ hauls away dead animals.
Yeah.
You guys better have some really funny shit that comes out.
I mean, next we have someone that has to kill the animals and people.
Yeah. Riley's an assassin,
Oh,
so
yeah, that's
it's
true.
yeah.
It's suicide. Everybody's dying. There's just a lot of death. This is fun.
Yeah, this is funny.
I don't want to make excuses for myself, but I kind of want to talk about this. I feel like it'd just be a good conversation about Catholic priests. Like, I feel like it's kind of hard to talk about because a lot has been said about Catholic priests over the years. Like, there's a lot of, like, hacky jokes. There's, like, a lot of good ones, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just funny because they're supposed to be, like, people of God, and then they're not.
Yeah. And that's why there's so many jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to fall into that trap of just like, they're touching kids, but it's like, what twist can you add to it that makes it your own, you know?
One more funeral story?
One more, and then we got to move on to your last comic.
Thanks. Is this cool? I hope I'm not taking up too much time. I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Just get to the story.
So we buried this like guy, and like we waited forever because we had to wait for the funeral to leave to bury him. But they were there for like an hour, and then like the funeral director waved us down and said that like the important people have left. And then we get there, and we have to load this casket in, and it's all these people in their like 20s and 30s, and they're all drunk. And then like there's this like one guy, and like he's like literally on drugs because like he's out of his mind. And like we're like lowering the casket in, and he's throwing change in, and they're like, "You said you wanted bus fare." And then he had these really expensive glasses on and was like rapping at the casket as it was getting lowered into the hole. And then his glasses fell in, and my coworker was like, "Do you want me to get those?" And he's like, "Nah, man, it's meant to be. Leave them." And then they were there for 3 hours just drinking.
At the cemetery?
Yeah, just...
That's a hot spot, man.
Yeah.
A tailgate before and after a funeral.
Yeah. There's no food, just alcohol and drugs.
That's how I'd like to go, man.
Thank you.
Brett Thomas.
Here we go for Brett!
All right, your final comic of this experience is John Armstrong, and he will be talking about death. John Armstrong, everybody.
There you go.
What hasn't been said yet today?
Death row. I was trying to figure out, I got to piggyback real quick. I was trying to figure out, was that a black funeral or a white funeral?
It was a black funeral. That was my first.
Yeah, because like bus fare, and then what was the other thing? Yes. But then it was like they was drinking the whole time because black funerals, there is a limited amount of liquor. Like it'll be like 4 people around one bottle and they hiding the bottle from everybody else. So please tell me, Brett.
1/3 of it.
Yeah. Bus fare, that's fucked up. All right, so death. I really this was hard because I couldn't think of none. But the last few years, I've actually dealt with too much death. I ain't dealt with death like this, ironically, since I was a teenager. Everybody black in the 90s remembers how many people died every summer. It was pretty bad. And then I had a quietness, and then it started happening again. My uncle died this time, around 2019. It was right before the pandemic. And he was like my brother because we were the same age. Some very black shit for your mother and your grandmother to be pregnant at the same time. but we was the same age, so we was like brothers, so that's how we grew up. But he passed away, and so we're at the funeral, we're at the wake or whatever, and like they asked people to come up and say something, and I'm so used to talking now, being a comic, I'm like, I'm about to spit some game, and I got up there, I started crying. I didn't know that would happen, man. It was weird, it was uncontrollable, so I couldn't even talk how I wanted to. But one of the things that's weird and that's funny is the first time you laugh, even if you laugh to yourself, like at a funeral. And my first little laugh to myself was, my uncle, he was like a deacon for the longest. Like, he was a crackhead back in the 80s and the 90s, and he got saved and shit. So, really good guy. I'm not shitting on him. He got saved, and so he became a deacon, and then he became, a minister or a reverend, or he got his own church, and he get money, you know. So he was the one doing the officiating or whatever of the wake or whatever. So he started doing it, and like my uncle was young, and at a young funeral, you ain't got like a lot of shit to say about a person, like, cause he didn't have no kids, he wasn't married, you know what I'm saying? He just was like me. I was like, he's fucking drank and smoked weed, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't much you could like say. So it got funny cause he was getting into the, I don't even know if I could do this, like, there's some very black church shit when the reverend started like, and he, and then, and he would start doing, he started doing all them, but he's so new to being a reverend that his wasn't like really hitting, like it was really weird, and then it was like watching a freestyle rapper run out of shit, cause he's like, and then he was trying to name all the shit that my uncle was into, he was like, and he was smart, and he read, and he liked pizza. I swear to God, I stopped crying like, what? Did they just say this nigga like pizza? Like, it was the funniest, like, it broke me out of my morning just for 1 second, and it was like, it's sad. You don't know enough about this motherfucker. That nigga, everybody like pizza. He like, yeah, he put it in the ass, and I was like, all right, this funeral is over. This shit is stupid. And that's death, nigga.
That's how you gotta end every bit, like, and that's relationships, and that's.
So it'd be like the Dave Chappelle, like, just have a microphone insurance company, because I'm just like throwing them,
smashing mics, man. The things that we do, the discomfort around death is so interesting to me. Like,
well, especially unexpected death with younger people. I mean, he was 40, he wasn't old, but he wasn't young. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it wasn't something that he wasn't sick or anything like that, and it wasn't anything that we saw coming. So that's the even bigger, like, you know.
I like that he didn't the minister, your other uncle. He couldn't hit the hits.
Yeah, it's like a cadence to it. Like if you have you ever been to a black church and seen like that whole thing? It's like it's a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's just part of the ritual of the church. But since he is a newer reverend to me, like and too, being a stand-up comic, you know how when you see people perform, you can tell how the performance is going. Like, I don't do music, but now it's like, you know how the sausage is made, so you can tell how the performance is going. And I could tell he's starting to kind of bomb a little bit. Like he was bombing at a funeral. And then he liked pizza. And I was just like, and that broke me out of my morning for a little bit, because I was like, this motherfucker ran out of shit to say. Like, and everybody like crying and like wiping their eyes, and like couldn't nobody address it because it would have been awkward, but there was a slight pause with everybody, just like, did he just say?
It's like he's reading off of like,
oh my God, like you could have like came up with something else. That's like going to, and his favorite movie was Star Wars, not the prequels. It was just the cadence of the black church mixed in with just like, my favorite color is.
It's like the things that you would ask a kindergartner.
It was just like, damn, man, like.
His favorite food was
pizza. That's how he said it. That was so funny. That's amazing. And it's that, and it's just the thing of like, you can't control mourning. And like I said, I didn't know I was going to like break down when I was there. So you can't control that. So that's why I love comedy so much, man. Because like, when you can get a laugh in those crazy moments, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, dude, like if we didn't, we might have talked about this before, but one of the things that separates humans, you know what I mean? Because since we have such a self-awareness of death, unlike a lot of animals, and we're just emotional creatures and social creatures, that it's like, if you want to say God, evolution, whatever the fuck, threw humor in there, because if we had this whole experience but there was no levity to it, it would be horrible, because it's already bad. Yeah. You know what I mean? And laughter, a lot of it comes from pain. It doesn't necessarily have to, you know what I mean? But that's, I mean, you know, what's tragedy plus time, you know?
Yeah, they're so close to one another.
Yeah.
Like, you know, being able to, like, you either laugh or you're going to cry. Like,
yeah.
Or do a little bit of both,
and,
you know?
and laughing through tears is a very human, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah. But and we also have that mental illness factor of being a comic. Like, yeah. You gotta know, like, you think of something funny in that moment, you can't just out and say it. Like, you gotta wait for the right time and place.
Yeah, it's like the bad date thing. But as a guy, you're like, but did you fuck her? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're always like digging for the, like, but did you? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys ever think about that? If you weren't a comic, like if comedy wasn't a thing, what would you do?
I would probably kill myself.
Yeah. Dig graves for a living.
Or something, some type of expression, you know what I mean? Maybe a writer or like, or a gun in my mouth.
Yeah. Well, a world without comedy isn't one that we want to live in.
Yeah, dude.
So, and that's why we do this podcast, is to point out the things that you can laugh at by picking apart why you can't laugh at them. So everybody, give yourselves a round of applause. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this live episode of You Can't Laugh at That. Steve, is there anything you want to throw in?
No, the towel.
Yeah.
Throw the damn towel! Sorry.
All right, everybody.
Thank y'all for doing this. This was so awesome. I'm headed to Hatfields. We do open mic every Thursday. And this coming Saturday, if you are not here at the Comedy Festival, please be at Hatfields. It's going to be me as the host. Ned Timmons is featured. And Bill Squire, who is world famous and on the Alan Cox Show, is going to be headlining. So come on out. That's going to be a good one.
Hell yeah.
Boom!
All right.
Shameless plug.
Also, a big thanks to the Odeon for allowing us to do this here. Big thanks to Cleveland Comedy Festival and Golden Ox Network.
It already happened if you're listening to this.
Yeah, visit GoldenOxStudio.com. Start your podcast with Jeremy. He's a fucking killer. He's an amazing human being. And he does so much for the Cleveland comedy scene. I don't know where this scene would be right now without people like Jeremy. So, Jeremy,
shucks.
yeah, no, for real.
We're going to edit that part out.
No,
Just
no.
kidding.
No, that is going to be, yeah, right. Yes.
Give it up for yourselves, guys. Thank you again. to everybody.
And thank you for proving that you can laugh at all of that. Follow us, follow us on Twitter, You Can't Laugh Pod, Facebook, You Can't Laugh at That, and check out, we have got over 100 episodes. So
Check out Brett Talk, Cleveland Canine, the 2 other podcasts on the network as well. So.
Yeah. Yep.
What's the one called? With the mental health?
Shit Brains.
Shit Brains.
Check out Shit Brains.
A lot of good stuff on there. All right, we're out.